Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why can't I just move on, or what's wrong with me? Let me tell you something, sis, those thoughts are not the truth. They're just patterns your mind has fallen into. And the good news is, you can literally rewire your brain and break free from them. I know, because I've been where you are. I've walked this journey myself, and over the years, I've also learned from the best, mentors, elite mindset strategies, and most importantly, the wisdom of our faith. I'm here to bring all of that to you in a way that's simple, actionable, and deeply transformative. Assalamu alaikum, my beautiful sisters. I'm Hannah, and welcome to the third episode of this Healing Journey series. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. I've spent over a decade immersed in mind mastery, self-development, and personal healing. After my divorce, however, that's when things really got serious. I know what it's like to feel stuck, overwhelmed, and unsure of how to move forward. But I also know what it takes to rebuild, reclaim your confidence, and find peace again. Over the years, I've studied the mindset mastery of elite leaders and worked with over a dozen mentors to refine the strategies I now teach. These tools aren't just theories, they've helped me transform my own life, and now I guide hundreds of sisters like you to break free from their pain, rediscover themselves, and step into their next chapter with strength and clarity. My approach combines faith-centered healing with actionable strategies because I truly believe the most profound transformation happens when we align our heart, mind, and soul with Allah's wisdom. Let's take a moment to recap where we've been so far, because each step builds on the last. In episode 1, we talked about spiritual blockages, those invisible barriers that keep you stuck. I showed you how self-ruqya, rooted in the Quran and authentic du'as, can lift that weight, clear spiritual afflictions such as evil eye, and reconnect you to your deen, bringing you back to Allah's light and mercy. Then in episode 2, we dove into emotional healing. We explored the 5 stages of grief and how unprocessed emotions create a kind of rust on the heart, weighing you down even when you're trying to move forward. I shared why intentionally navigating these stages is essential for your healing journey. Together, these steps, spiritual healing and emotional healing, are powerful foundations for rebuilding your life. But here's the thing. Even when you've started to process your emotions and reconnect spiritually, many of us still feel stuck. Why? Because the mind is a battlefield. And without mastering your thoughts, those same limiting beliefs and mental blocks will keep pulling you back into cycles of fear, doubt, and overwhelm. I've seen this time and again in my coaching sessions and personal experience. When I was on my own healing journey, I realized that my mind was often my biggest obstacle, but once I learned to master it, everything changed. Literally everything. It's the basis of success. That's why I'm so passionate about teaching these strategies. Today, I'm going to show you how to break free. You'll learn how to reprogram your thoughts and align them with truth, actual truth. So you can step into the future Allah has planned for you with confidence and strength, inshallah. Get ready, sisters, because this is the episode where everything starts to come together. Grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive in. Sisters, let's get real for a moment. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your mind is working against you? Even after reconnecting spiritually and starting to process your grief, you will still feel stuck. Something keeps pulling you back into that same cycle of pain. And you're not alone in this. But why does this happen? It's because the mind is a battlefield. What I mean by this is that your mind thinks on average 60,000 thoughts a day. 75% of those thoughts are automatically negative. Wow, imagine that. But your mind isn't evil. In fact, your mind is wired to keep you safe. But to do that, it seeks out danger, which manifests in the form of fear, which is all those limiting beliefs. And if we don't learn how to master our thoughts, they can keep us trapped in cycles of fear, hopelessness, and even self-sabotage. Think about it for a moment. How often do you find yourself replaying the past, reliving arguments or moments of betrayal, as if reanalyzing them will somehow change the outcome? Or maybe you're constantly second-guessing your decisions, questioning if you could have done something differently to avoid the pain you're in now. And then there's that voice. You know exactly the one I mean. The voice that whispers, I'm not good enough. Maybe I deserve this. What if I never feel better? These thoughts don't just show up once and leave. They linger, they loop, and over time they start to feel like the truth. What does staying stuck look like? These mental blocks can show up in so many ways. Self-doubt, you're constantly questioning your abilities, whether it's as a mother, a professional, or even just as a woman navigating her life. Overthinking. You replay conversations and scenarios in your head, trying to figure out what went wrong or how you could have done things differently. Fear of the future. You're hesitant to make decisions or take steps forward because you're scared of failing or getting hurt again. A negative self-talk. You catch yourself saying things you'd never say to anyone else. I'm a failure. I'll never find peace. And here's the thing. These thoughts feel real. They feel heavy. They feel like they're coming from some deep, undeniable truth about who you are. But that's not the case. They seem like the truth because they've become pattern, habits your mind has fallen into after experiencing trauma, betrayal, and pain. But here's what I need you to know, sis. They're not the truth. They're just untrained thought patterns. And the good news is they can be rewired. It's like this. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you don't tend to it, weeds start to grow. They take over, suffocating the beauty and potential of the space. Your negative thoughts are those weeds. And if you've been through something as painful as divorce, those weeds can grow fast and deep. But here's the good news. Just like a garden, your mind can be cultivated. Those weeds can be pulled out, and new seeds of hope, clarity, and confidence can be planted. Why mental blocks are so damaging. Here's where it gets tricky. If we don't address these mental blocks, they don't just stay in your mind, they seep into every area of your life. Your confidence takes a hit. You second guess yourself constantly, wondering if you're even capable of rebuilding, that you're not worthy of happiness or love. Your relationships feel strained, whether it's with your kids, your family, or potential future relationships, because these thoughts create walls of fear and doubt. Even your connection with Allah can feel distant. When you're consumed by self-doubt and negativity, it becomes harder to trust in Allah's plan and His mercy. You start to question if you're deserving of His mercy or if you'll ever truly feel whole again. It's a ripple effect, and it's why so many sisters feel stuck even when they're trying their best to move forward. And here's the hard truth. We're not taught how to master our minds. You might have been told to pray more, to stay strong, or to let it go, but nobody sits you down and says, this is how you reprogram your thoughts. This is how you actually let it go. This is how to actually break the cycle of negativity and hopelessness. This is how you train your mind to work for you, not against you. That's why so many of us stay stuck. It's not because we're not trying hard enough. It's because we don't have the tools. But sisters, those tools exist. And when you learn how to use them, everything changes. And here's what I want you to hold on to. Your mind doesn't have to stay your obstacle. With the right tools and strategies, you can turn it into your greatest ally. Imagine waking up in the morning and no longer being weighed down by self-doubt, fear, or regret. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a woman who trusts herself, who knows she has what it takes to rebuild her life, feeling deeply connected to Allah with no doubt that He's guiding you towards something better, towards greatness. Sisters, this isn't just wishful thinking, this is possible. It's what happens when you take control of your mind, and I'm going to show you how. The key to breaking free from those mental blocks is mastering your mind. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. Your mind is incredibly powerful. It can either be your greatest ally or your toughest obstacle. If left untrained, it can trap you in a cycle of fear, self-doubt, and hopelessness. But when you learn to master it, your mind becomes a tool for healing, growth, and transformation. So, what does mind mastery look like? Mind mastery is a very vast topic. Like I said, I have been studying it for over a decade. However, in a nutshell, I will give you 2 key principles of mind mastery and then 2 tools you can use straight away. Firstly, awareness. The first step to mastering your mind is awareness. You need to start observing your thought patterns. What are you telling yourself every day? Are you constantly replaying past mistakes? Are you speaking words of hope? Or are your thoughts filled with self-doubt? Awareness is like shining a light in a dark room. It helps you see what's really there, even the thoughts that might be holding you back. Without this step, you can't begin to shift your mindset. Secondly, reframing. Once you become aware of those thoughts, the next step is to reframe them. This means replacing the unhelpful narratives with ones rooted in truth, hope, and the promises of Allah. For example, if you're telling yourself, I'll never heal, stop and remind yourself, Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. Or when you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, replace that with, Allah has created me with purpose and dignity. These small but intentional shifts in your thinking have a ripple effect, changing not just your thoughts but also your emotions and actions. 2 things you can start doing from today. Firstly, positive affirmations rooted in truth. Now here's where most people go wrong with affirmations. You've probably heard the advice to tell yourself things like, I am amazing or I'm unstoppable. But let's be real, when your heart is heavy, those words can feel fake. Your mind and body knows when you're lying to it. That only leads to further distrust and why it probably hasn't worked for you before. But affirmations rooted in divine truth are powerful. What do I mean by this? When you affirm yourself using Allah's words, you're grounding your beliefs in something unshakable, in your deen, in the perfect words of Allah. Remember, words do have power. How do we know this? Well, our Prophet even told us that nothing changes destiny except dua. Dua is words right. Words have immense power. Ruqya is also in reciting. Reciting Allah's words to attain healing. So, how do we do this? Use the words of Allah, for example, saying, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease," isn't just some mantra, it's a promise from Allah Himself in the Quran. You know it's the truth. And when your mind starts to align with those truths, your perspective shifts in ways you can't even imagine. Next, focus on the present. Mastering your mind also means learning to be present in the here and now. So many of us dwell on the past, what went wrong, what could have been different, or we spiral into anxiety about the future. But true peace exists in the present moment, because this is where Allah's mercy resides. When you start focusing on today, this moment, you begin to see the blessings that are already around you, and you realize that Allah is with you, guiding you right now. Sisters, I want you to imagine what your life could look like when you start mastering your mind. Instead of waking up with a heavy heart, you wake up with a sense of calm, ready to face the day with strength and clarity. Instead of doubting your worth, you trust in Allah's plan for you and feel confident in who you are. Instead of being trapped in cycles of anxiety, depression, or hopelessness, you move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and peace. This is the transformation that mind mastery brings. It's not just about silencing negative thoughts, it's about replacing them with thoughts that empower you, uplift you, and align with your faith. And sisters, this transformation is entirely possible for you. Allah has given us the tools to master our minds. We just need to learn how to use them. In fact, in Islam, mastering the mind is not just a tool for personal growth. It's actually a vital component of our relationship with Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Allah says, I am as my servant thinks I am." This profound statement teaches us that our thoughts and perceptions shape our connection with Allah and our understanding of His mercy, wisdom and power, therefore, our life. When we think positively of Allah, trusting in His decree and believing in His promises, we open ourselves to His blessings and guidance. Conversely, when negative thoughts cloud our minds, they can limit our ability to fully trust in Allah's mercy and plan. This is why mind mastery, rooted in Islamic principles, is so transformative. It not only helps us heal and grow, but also deepens our reliance on Allah. Mastering the mind is essential for achieving emotional resilience, spiritual alignment, and a purposeful life. Our thoughts are the seeds of our actions, and Islam emphasizes the importance of cultivating positive, faith-driven thoughts. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves," highlighting that transformation begins internally. Mind mastery empowers us to overcome despair, regulate emotions like anger and fear, and resist the whispers of shaitan that can distort our perception. It strengthens our focus in worship, humility, and presence in salah. Mastering the mind helps us reframe challenges with trust in Allah's wisdom, turning trials into opportunities for growth. Now, I know that as we're talking about mind mastery, some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but is this something I can actually do? Or maybe you're feeling hesitant because of doubts or challenges that held you back in the past. Let's address some of those concerns together, because I want you to see just how achievable and transformative this journey can be, inshallah. Sisters, I know that for many of you, the thought of mastering your mind might feel overwhelming. You might be thinking, what if I'm not strong enough to handle this? What if I fail? These are very real fears, and I want to acknowledge them because you're not alone in feeling this way. I hear this from so many women, and I completely understand where you're coming from. You've been through so much, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and it can feel like you're already carrying so much weight. The thought of adding one more thing can feel overwhelming and maybe even impossible. You might be thinking, what if I try and I fail? What if I'm just not strong enough to do this? But let me tell you something. The fact that you're here right now listening to this is proof that you're strong. You're already taking a step that so many others don't. You're showing up for yourself, even when it feels hard. And that, in itself, is a powerful act of courage. And you don't have to do this perfectly, because healing isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, taking one step at a time, and trusting Allah to guide you. Remember, Allah tells us, indeed, with hardship comes ease. If He has brought you to this moment, He has also given you the strength to walk through it. And trust me, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here to guide you, and Allah is always with you. And for some of you, this might not be the first time you've tried to heal or make a change. You've done therapy, read self-help books, or maybe even tried mindset practices before. And yet, here you are, still feeling stuck. I hear this so often from sisters, and I want to address it because it's not about you. It's about the approach you've been given. It breaks my heart because I know how exhausting it can feel. You've spent time and energy, you've sought help, maybe even poured your heart out in therapy sessions. But despite all that effort, you still feel stuck. And that feeling, the disappointment, the frustration, it's heavy. It can make you wonder if you'll ever truly heal or if something is just wrong with you. But let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. The issue isn't that you're incapable or broken, it's that many of these conventional approaches don't address the whole of who you are. Most methods focus on just one piece of the puzzle, but they don't connect the dots between your mind, your heart, and your soul. That's where this approach is different. It's not just about mindset hacks or quick fixes. It's about working holistically, addressing the mental patterns that hold you back, the emotional grief that keeps your heart weighed down, and the spiritual blockages that stop you from moving forward. When you heal every part of yourself, you can finally feel light, free, and whole again. I've had sisters come to me after years of therapy saying, Hannah, going through your blueprint program gave me more clarity and healing in just a few weeks than I ever imagined possible. It's not because I have some magic pill, it's because this approach works from the inside out. The blueprint isn't just about one aspect of healing, it's a complete step-by-step system that integrates emotional, mental, and spiritual healing, designed to rebuild all three dimensions, all rooted in the wisdom of the Quran and our faith. So if you've tried other methods and they didn't work, I want you to know this. It's not about trying harder, because you've done that already. It's about approaching it differently. This is about transformation, not just survival. And you are absolutely capable of achieving it, inshallah. If you found this episode helpful in any way, please kindly subscribe to my new YouTube channel. I'd love to grow this with you ladies. And also share it with a sister who needs to hear this. You never know whose life you might touch with just a simple share. And don't forget to join me for the upcoming free webinar, where I'll guide you even further with practical faith-centered strategies to help you heal, reconnect with yourself, and step into your new future. And if you have any questions you want to ask me, just sign up to the VIP ticket for only £37. You get to have an additional Q&A session with me and get a taster of my coaching and see if you find it beneficial. As a bonus, I also throw in my personal 2025 success planner for free, which is worth £47, as my New Year gift to you so you can start your new year right. Plus, every VIP ticket holder gets automatically entered into our prize draw to win a free deep dive coaching call with me worth £97. I made it an absolute steal for you ladies, so no excuses if you're really ready to step into the best versions of yourself and get unstuck from your divorce. Reserve your spot now by clicking the link on this page or sending me a DM on Instagram. I can't wait to see you there and show you how to take the next steps in your healing journey, inshallah. It's free and jam-packed with value. I'll see you there. Oh, and by the way, this is the only time I'll be offering this VIP upgrade experience, and I'm doing it to set you up for success in 2025, inshallah. So, if you've been longing for deeper coaching and support on your divorce healing journey, this is your chance to grab it. Until next time, keep going, sis. You've got this, and I'm with you every step of the way.